If you're a female struggling with endometriosis, you actually may have a gut issue. So in this video, we are going to dive into what endometriosis really is, what's commonly done for endometriosis in our medical system, and why, if you have endometriosis, you really should be testing your gut. So to start, what endometriosis really is in simple terms, it's a hormone imbalance. You won't have endometriosis if you have balanced hormones. And what I mean by that is that endometriosis is very commonly an estrogen dominance type of issue. So if your estrogens are too elevated, what's going to happen is you create that imbalance, and that excess estrogen has to go somewhere. If your body's not clearing that hormone properly, then the estrogen's going to form in other parts of the body. It can be around your bowels, your bladder, sometimes it's the liver, even the diaphragm. It could be around your ovaries, around your appendix, anywhere outside the uterus. You end up having these excess formations of tissue growth. And that tissue growth, because it's fed by estrogen, it's a very estrogenic tissue, it's going to actually flare up throughout your cycle. So as females, our estrogen, it changes all throughout the month. So as it's changing and as it's even increasing at different periods of time in the month and in your cycle, then you're going to start to feel pain. You're going to feel pain because there's built up scar tissue, there's excess tissue growth, and all of that actually flares up every time the hormones are shifting in your cycle. Very commonly, women with endometriosis not only have high estrogens, but they also may have low progesterone. And we see this all the time in our clinic. So we see women where their estrogens are within range and they're actually at a normal level, but then that female's progesterone level is so low. And because it's so low, that again causes that hormone imbalance. So the same thing can happen. Progesterone's not high enough to keep your estrogens in check and to keep things all balanced out, and you still create an estrogen dominant condition. Now, what commonly happens in the medical system for endometriosis is that women are typically prescribed birth control. Sometimes they will be prescribed a medication, or they're going to be suggested to have surgery to remove the endometriosis. Now, when it comes to surgery for endometriosis, it is so important that women are not just having the surgery and then expecting all their symptoms to go away and stay away and for their hormones to be balanced. The surgery does nothing to balance the hormones. The surgery is simply just taking tissue, that excess tissue growth and scar tissue, out of the body, which can help a ton with symptoms. But if women still have that hormone imbalance where they have estrogen dominance, and that's what contributed to the endometriosis to begin with, then after that surgery, they may get some pain relief for a while, but their body, if it's still dealing with that hormone imbalance, is just going to create more of that endometrial tissue, just like it did before. So the key, whether you're having the surgery or not, or have had the surgery in the past, the key is to actually figure out why your body is not getting rid of estrogen like it should. Estrogen is a hormone that we produce. It's produced by our ovaries at all different points in the month, and then it has to be eliminated. It must be eliminated through the gut and through the liver. So the secret to actually healing from endometriosis really does come through healing the gut. If in your gut you have a yeast overgrowth, then which we see all the time with women with endometriosis, then you're probably not detoxing your estrogen and eliminating estrogen through the bowels, because your yeast overgrowth can start to cling on to that excess estrogen. And if you have all this yeast in your gut, then the estrogen is going to attach to the yeast and it's going to hang around. It's not going to be able to be eliminated, because until we heal that gut environment and kill off the yeast, it has no reason to leave. They have a high affinity for one another, both estrogen and yeast. So that is one very common reason why we see that patients are unable to truly balance their hormones even after they've had the endometriosis surgery, or if they haven't had the surgery, they're still struggling to actually see a change in symptoms and get relief because they haven't had their gut looked at. And the best way to really look at your gut health and your microbiome is through stool testing. By running a stool test, a comprehensive, very specific stool test, we can test to see if you have a yeast overgrowth. And we can test your bacterial levels. We can test for certain enzymes. There are other things in the gut that can also make it very difficult to detox toxins and estrogen. And that could very well be why somebody ends up with this estrogen dominance. No matter what you're doing for your hormones, you might be on tons of great supplements that are supposedly going to help flush estrogen or, help your body reduce your estrogen levels. If you don't really heal the gut properly, you're not going to address the root cause of the issue. As I said earlier, another very common reason that women struggle with endometriosis is because of the low progesterone. And now progesterone is a hormone that a lot of women struggle with in order to keep their levels at a healthy place. And that's because progesterone has the potential to convert into cortisol. So if you're under a lot of stress, which often is a huge contributing factor to hormone imbalance, things like endometriosis, stress plays a big role in that, then your body is going to figure out a way to make more cortisol. If you're in fight or flight mode and your body thinks it's running from a tiger all day long, where you're just in go, go, go mode, not stopping, then your body's going to have to make more cortisol and it has to pull it from somewhere. So what it can do and what it will do is actually pull it from progesterone. So now we end up with high cortisol spikes and low progesterone, meaning again that our hormones are going to create an imbalance, and that imbalance causes the estrogen to become dominant and increases our chances of developing something like endometriosis. So in order to really heal your endometriosis, running a stool test is key. So if you are somebody that's struggling with endometriosis and you have not looked into your gut health yet, let's get in touch, figure out what's truly contributing to this endometriosis, and then we can create a plan of action to actually heal your body and heal from this hormone imbalance that's been going on so that you're no longer dealing with the pain, those terrible, heavy periods that you're probably having. And if fertility is a goal of yours, you will be in a much better place to be able to conceive. Once we heal from that scar tissue and from that excess estrogen growth and that tissue growth, and really balance out your hormones for long-term health.